Today I'm here talking about our Stallion Professional Soft Wash System. Our deluxe Stallion features a 6.5 horsepower Vanguard engine, an 11 gallon a minute Comet P40 pump that does 300 PSI at its max rating. It also features a stainless steel hose reel that is wrapped with 200 feet of agriculture hose to give you the maximum chemical resistance that you need to do the job right and save equipment. This skid is aluminum or stainless steel so that you're not going to have corrosion in your first year or second year with the equipment. You're going to be working the entire time. It's going to be 5-10 years down the line that you actually have to fix this or replace any parts on the stainless steel hose reel. Our Deluxe Stallion is a very simple build. We have it set up so that everything is open and easily accessible so that you can do your general maintenance. You can fix air leaks if you need right then and there. You don't have to open anything up. It's not complicated. The engine, the Vanguard engine that we use is a pull cord engine. You have your gas on the top, and then you have your choke on the bottom. When you start it after a while, you're gonna have to choke it maybe 1 or 2 times and get it going. But the gas on the top, this will throttle the engine up and down, whether you want full power or medium power. You don't really need it all the time, but you have that option. Your general maintenance is gonna be spark plugs, filters, and oil. The biggest thing that you gotta remember is 200 hours of runtime, you're gonna have to replace all 3 of those things. So do your spark plugs the same time you do your oil, and do your oil filter the same time you do everything else. The pump oil is the same situation. When you're doing your engine, do your pump oil too. And then with our setup, you have a gearbox in between the engine and the pump. Your gearbox needs oil as well. So what we recommend is every 200 hours is you do all 3 at once. It'll take you about an hour, but set out the time so that you do it right and keep your equipment up and running. Your spark plugs you really only have to do once a year. We always recommend to do all the maintenance at one time, but you really only have to do it once a year. On your hose reel, you have a swivel on it that over time there's rubber grommets on the inside of it. Those will wear out and corrode from the bleach. So that's going to be one thing that you're going to have to replace about once a year. On your hose reel, you have a swivel on this side. That's a stainless steel swivel. There's rubber fittings on the inside of these swivels to make it move. Those fittings over time do corrode and break down due to the bleach that you're running through it. So you're gonna have to replace the swivel once a year. Whenever you see it leaking, that's an indication to get it replaced. On your gun, we just give you a general soft wash gun. On either side, there's a socket that has an O-ring on the inside of it. And on that O-ring, you replace them often. You replace it about once a week. Depending on which O-ring you buy, you can get chemical resistant O-rings that'll last you a little bit longer, but you're still gonna be replacing the O-ring often. To get it running, I'm gonna take it and choke it. I'm gonna turn on the gas, and I'm gonna pull the cord. Now that I've run it for the first time, it's good to go. Now I just have to drop my hoses into my bucket, connect my gun, and I'll get it running. So on your Comet P40 pump, the gas-powered soft wash pumps, they have your suction line, which drops into your tank and pulls your water. And then they also have bypass systems that whenever you pull your water, anything excess or whenever you let go of the trigger, your unloader will cycle that water back into your tank or to your proportioner. But that's an added option. We're not going to touch on that. So right now we're just going to drop our suction line, which is going to be the 1-inch hose, into our tank and get it to the bottom. And then your 1/2-inch line is your return line. Your return line is connected to your unloader, so it's very clear and easy on which one does what. But your unloader is controlled by this little knob right here. So if you want to cycle the water so you can go do something for a minute, you can turn it and let it cycle the water by itself, and you just flip it and it shuts it down, and you can start running again. This line will also go into your tank so that it supplies the water back into your tank, so you're not wasting chemical, because if you're doing it this way, you're batch mixing. Your batch is going to have whatever your ratio of water to bleach is, and then your soap. So you're going to want to cycle all that back so that you don't waste any chemical. If you don't do that, then it's just going to go all over the ground. So I have everything set. I have the hoses in the tank. I'm going to connect my soft wash gun to the hose. Normally, if you're going to soft wash, every job you need to pull the entire hose off the line, because what happens is the hose acts like a snake and contracts itself into the hose reel. The base of these hose reels are a thin aluminum frame. That frame, over time, it'll crush itself. So you have to pull the entire hose off if you're going to run it for more than a couple seconds. For demonstration purposes, I'm not going to do that. There's 200 feet on this reel. It's not necessary. So right here, I'm going to come over. I'm going to pull the engine. I'm going to turn on the gas and pull the engine. So with the Stallion, I'm able to get about 40 feet out into the parking lot. On a normal house, on a perfect day, you can get about 50 to 60 feet on these gas-powered soft wash systems, but those are perfect days. What you really see out there is 35 to 45 feet generally, depending on the conditions. Now that I've done running it, I'll just crank the hose back up onto the hose reel, and then I'll be done. I'll be ready to go to my next job. When you're running the Deluxe Stallion Soft Wash System, and when there's a random problem, you're on a job and there's a random problem that you cannot figure out, let's start at the beginning with your engine. There's a float valve on the bottom of this in the oil that will prevent the engine from starting without any oil. So if your engine's not starting, then you're going to go check the oil level. If you're fine on the oil level, the next step is to check the gas. 9 times out of 10, we run out of gas and we don't even realize it. I do it all the time. If that's not working, when you're trying to pull the cord, and if you're getting just a little bit of torque to it, pull the choke back and let it run for a second, and then close it again. See if that fixes it. If all else fails, make sure your gas is on, and then call PowerWash.com and we might have a solution to your problem. The next in line is going to be your gearbox. There's nothing more to your gearbox other than gears. So if there's anything mechanical and your pump's not pumping or your engine's not working, we can pretty much assume it's not going to be the gearbox. The gearbox is set when you get it, and we don't have any problems with it moving forward. After your gearbox, your pump is next in line. The inside of a pump has many different things. It has check valves, it has seals, all of that, but they're generally stronger than we think they are. So jumping to the big conclusion of something's wrong with the inside of the pump will just get you in trouble because you'll try to open it. Let's look at outside of the pump. We have 4 hose clamps that could have shaken loose when we're moving around outside or driving to jobs. These hose clamps over time will come loose. So let's try to find the air leak. There might be an air leak in line somewhere that's preventing the pump from pulling just water. And if we've tightened all those and we're still not letting it prime, call PowerWash.com for our expert advice on where to look next. Because if you go and try and track down your leak inside the pump, you're gonna lose a part. I've seen it many times. Just let us help you. We will find the right part, we'll find the leak, and then we'll get you back working. Call PowerWash.com at 1-800-433-2113 and ask us any question you have. We have 50 years of advice and experience in this business. So give us a call and we'll help you out.